You're listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Get the knowledge you need to advance your mortgage practice quickly and efficiently from Jen Du Plessis, America's Mortgage Mastery mentor with over 37 years of experience and over $1 billion in lifetime fundings. Jen has been mentoring loan officers and realtors for over 15 years and speaking on stages across the globe. So settle in and get ready as Jen and her guests share their experience, passion, and strategies to help you crack the top producer code to reach new heights in your business. And now, here's your host, Jen Du Plessis, Mortgage Mastery Mentor and head chick in charge of Kinetic Spark Consulting.
Hey everyone, it's Jen. Wanted to let you know that we are holding a virtual summit Thursday and Friday, November 12th and 13th. And it's called Who Moved My Business? So if you've ever read the book, Who Moved My Cheese, we're taking a little spin on that and talking about how to position yourself best for 2021, given the fact that we are still going to be in COVID. And more importantly, things are not going to go back to normal. They are going to be like this for the future because everyone has realized how much how valuable it is to be able to do virtual events. So I wanted to let you know that we are having that event and we will have the link in the show notes so you can go right to the event. It's a free event. It's complimentary. Would love to have you join us for 2 days as we talk about everything and anything to help your business grow in 2021 by talking about who moved my business. What are you going to do? Are you going to sit back or are you going to plan for the future? Because the future is a series of nows. What you're doing right now affects your future. So come on over and join us. Spend 2 days with us and learn as much as you possibly can to get yourself a great launch and jumpstart into 2021. So I can't wait to see you there. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this episode. Today, I have a great guest with me, Auriemma McKay, and she is author of Stress-Free Remodeling. And actually, this just came out, didn't it?
Well, last year, actually. It's about
last year. Okay. I don't know what, maybe you got a new group of them that came to you and you sent it to me. So, and of course I begged for it. Anytime I know that someone's an author and they're going to be on my podcast, I'm like, can I have a book? Please let me have a book. So, but anyway, it's fantastic. Thank you so much. Anyway, she is, let me just tell you a little bit about her. And I'm actually going to read your bio from the book. It's just so much easier. But after going through her own home remodeling and remodels and experiencing firsthand how overwhelming it can be on the other side of the drawing board because she is an architect. Emma realized how important it is for homeowners to have a guide. She brings a unique perspective and understanding of your remodel project that allows you to avoid expensive mistakes that homeowners make all too often. So she shows her clients, and by the way, realtors, she educates realtors, and that's why we have her on the show today. On the entire process from beginning to the entire process and finish with a beautiful new home that they can be proud of. So she has over 25 years in the architectural space, and we're just delighted to have her here. She and I were talking on the phone the very first time we met and said, gosh, we should have recorded this because it could have been its own podcast. So Emma, welcome to the show. I'm so happy that we finally made this happen.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So we're going to kind of dive in, and I want to make sure that everyone understands, why I brought you on the show. Because, most loan officers are going, hey, I'm a loan officer. How come we have an architect who's talking to us about remodeling and all that? And we have obviously real estate agents that listen as well. But I think this is a unique perspective. And so I'm going to have you talk about that perspective, but on how loan officers that are listening can share this with the real estate agents, and how the real estate agents that are listening can provide this and share this with their clients as well, so they don't take away all their sales right from for themselves. And obviously, as homeowners, every one of us are going to listen. So if you could give us a perspective on how we could use what you're about ready to tell us about remodeling to move our businesses forward.
Well, I think it's having the perspective of an architect, because I can see possibilities in almost any property. And my course that I'm teaching for realtors is helping them see those kind of possibilities. Because, when, especially now, there's a limited amount of
Inventory.
properties on the market,
Mhm.
and people may be settling, not really happy with the houses they have to buy. So, I'm giving value to the realtors so they can help their clients envision that this house is perfect for them. And it may take some fixing up, and, my other programs can help them do that. But it's, helping the realtor help their clients. And the other thing I get into with my programs too is as we talk about those changes and modifications, I also give estimates for the projects. Now, these aren't to be quoted, as we know, right? We don't want to get anybody in trouble, but it's just an idea. So, when you're talking to your client, you can give an idea of how much it's going to cost to do certain things and what the return on investment could be. And that could be helpful for sellers as well. So that's where the mortgage people can come in, where um, getting this idea of what a budget's going to be, they can have an idea of what they're going to have to apply for their mortgage. And I know there's other products available for remodeling.
Right, the
So,
renovation
it's,
programs.
yeah,
Yeah.
it helps both ends of the spectrum there.
Yeah. I see it as, for a real estate agent, because I teach real estate agents as well. I coach real estate agents. And one of the courses I teach is Real Estate Sales Mastery and RESM. And one of the things that we talk about in there is how do you sell a house? I mean, truly sell a house. A lot of times it's, hey, so this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Go ahead and go on in, go ahead and look, and then we'll meet back outside, or I'll kind of walk through with you. But and they go, well, I kind of like it. And then the agent says, well, let me see if there's other houses available. I don't know. There's not a lot of inventory, and not really offering solutions to them. And so it can increase the number of sales, even if you had 1 or 2 more sales a year, because put in the extra time, the extra 5-10 minutes to say, hey, what if you did this? And what if you could do that? And, looking at the different angles so that people do take action on homes that they maybe don't like on the surface. And you and I talked about this before. It's sort of the Property Brothers
Exactly.
show, of, yeah, it looks like this, but let me tell you what it could look like.
Right.
If we can pull that down into the everyday realtor, wow, could that make a big
Yeah,
difference?
it's the contractor, Jonathan, who sells the house. But the other
Yeah.
thing, people really have to connect with the house. It's a very emotional experience. And the other thing I talk about is, when I do a project, I have to get kind of intimate on how they live, what they do in the house. And that's what I try and help people understand too, because as you're walking through a house, if you know that they like to have coffee in a special sunny corner in their family room, well, if you're walking through the house and you know the orientation of the house, you can say, hey, and here's that spot where you can have your coffee.
Right.
So, they can say, wow, I can see that. Or, now everybody's doing virtual house tours. Have the owner tell their story about
Yes.
why they love the house, where are their special spots. Because, just walking into a house, whether it's furnished or empty, you don't know those special spots in the house. I always love to give the example of my house. We didn't build it, but in my bathroom, when I stand in my shower, there's a mirror on my closet door that reflects the mountains. There's a window there. When I look the other way, I see out the clear-story window down the valley. Now, I know nobody planned that,
Right.
but it's
Right.
like those special things that if I was selling this house, I could tell them that. We have a back deck, we have a front deck, and when it's hot, we go up in the morning and work on the top deck. So, to really know how people have used this house and what's really special about it can really, start emotionally connecting people to that house. And that's what's going to sell the house.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that because I actually teach that to the realtors. I've taught that for years, because in the listings are like, this is a custom built home and it has granite countertops and blah, blah, blah. And I, had said to them, go. And so, by the way, it's not just virtual, it's all the time, ask the seller, what is their favorite part about the house? We have the same kind of thing, as well. We just have a way a glass goes. And I love sitting out on the porch. We're on 21 acres. So I'm out in the country and I love sitting on the porch in the morning and listening to the animals, and the breeze is perfect. And, those types of things, are certainly certainly helpful. So I love that concept, and I love that you're sharing that with everybody too. So what are you seeing, since we're in COVID challenge right now? What are you seeing is happening? Are people more apt to remodel their own home? Or is, because you've already addressed the challenge of, there's
Right.
not a lot of inventory, so when they're out looking, and I know that new building is growing
Yes.
exponentially.
Yes.
New builders are busier than ever because there's not enough inventory. But in the case that they're, what are you seeing in this? Is it a little bit of everything, or are you seeing a lot of, remodeling from people?
I think a little bit of both. People are looking for bigger houses. I think it depends on their situation. Adult children, elderly people are moving back into the nuclear home. So, in that instance, they would need larger homes. But people are remodeling like crazy too. It's a little bit more financially economical to stay where you are and remodel rather than buy a new place. But they're just looking for more space, to have their conference calls, to have their kids have a study area. So it's finding new space in your old home, you know, being creative and seeing if there's a big hallway, maybe you can put a desk up there, and things that are multi-purpose. Maybe it's during the day, if the kids are studying, you can have like a fold up desktop that comes up and
Right.
down, and your what was a guest room, there's Murphy beds, so you don't have to have the whole bed in the guest room all
Right.
day. You can
Right.
put your desks or something like
Well,
that.
yeah,
So
I
it's
mean,
it's making minor changes.
it is
Yeah.
kind of funny because, I mean, what I'm sitting in now is my office. I mean, technically it's a formal living room. It's always been my office. We haven't, well, I shouldn't say that, we've been in our home for 16 years, but for a long time it's been my office at home. When I chose to work from home, and then when I retired, obviously became my full-time office. And we did have an office upstairs and a bedroom, but I felt so disconnected from the house, from the rest of the family, that I said, I want it on the main floor. I want to be able to see outside. And, as you can see, I'm in a bay window. So I get to see straight outside onto the property. I can see people coming into our long driveway and everything. And we were just recently talking about maybe we should convert one of those bedrooms, even though we need it when the kids are here, because now my husband's working from home and I'm pretty sick of the kitchen table being his office for the last 6 months now. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just those minor adjustments, and sometimes a floor plan could be easily converted into a separate unit. When I give a presentation, I have some examples of that. Just by closing off part of the hallway, put a door or a wall, can be a totally separate unit. So, depending on your situation in the floor
Yeah.
plan, you can do a lot of things. And
Yeah.
I just always advise have a professional look at it, because we do that all the time. So we
Right.
can
Right. Yeah.
see a
You can
lot
see different
more
angles. Yeah.
possibilities. Yeah.
Listen, I'm an HGTV junkie for
Isn't that
renovation,
great?
beach renovation, lake renovation. I'm not so much the regular home renovations. I'm just for the
Yeah.
beach and whatever. But when they finish it, I'm like, gosh, I wouldn't have thought of this. I wouldn't have thought of
Yeah.
that. And I think professionals are really important. I know one of the things that you say in your book is, about how remodeling can change your life. Can you
Oh,
share
yeah.
a little bit about that? About how remodeling can actually change your life?
Well, I have a story of a client. They had two early teens. They had a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house.
Ouch.
And yeah, and we did a second story. So dad got an office. They had the master suite upstairs. The kids got their own bedrooms. They did share a bath. And they said, oh my gosh, why didn't we do this sooner? And that's what happens. Just everyone's life, you have a life of ease. When you're doing a project like that, you get to add your special signature on it. So
Right.
it gives you pride. It's a sense of accomplishment. And it's just, you can enjoy your life. If you're in a house where you have a big family coming to visit all the time, and you're
Ugh,
cramped and you don't have enough space, it just doesn't make it fun. So, when you get things working to suit your life and your lifestyle, it makes it so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely can see it because, it brings, I think it could bring families together.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
about my own experience, as you know, my degree's in architecture as well. And, when I designed my mom and dad's house, I had a footprint that had already been created. And it was
Right.
actually built by, um, well, the footprint was there. They were going to build a house. They thought there was going to be a nuclear something or other, and so they built the house, into the mountain in Colorado, and 8 foot walls,
Okay.
thick, not thick, high, and I think the walls were 24. These were concrete. They were 24 inches thick, because they
Wow.
thought, oh, it's going to happen. It was kind of like a salt box in the mountain.
Yeah.
And so that was a footprint I had. So I drew the house plans up and stuff, and they built the house and everything. But then we had kids. And then we had more kids. And then we moved away. And then when we came back, I was older. And the only place for me to sleep was in a pull-out couch. And I was like, we should have made an extra bed. And we
Yeah.
got to the point where we wanted to stay at a hotel because it just wasn't comfortable. And you lose all of those beautiful memories with grandma and grandpa when you stay at a hotel and you don't stay at their house.
Right.
And
Right.
I mean,
That's the
just the
moment.
simple things in life, if we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So some of the things, or one of the things that you also talk about in the book is, hard won lessons that you don't have to pay for. So if you could share with us, what would be some of the lessons that realtors and loan officers need to be sharing with clients, of what not to do as they're thinking about renovation?
I think the first thing is understanding what a budget is. I stress this over and over in the book. There's a real simple rule of thumb to figure out what what a budget can be. But when you come up with that number, that's not the construction budget. That's not the total budget. That is what it's going to cost the square foot. But there's the permit fees involved, there's the architectural fees involved, there's the engineer, there may be other city fees involved. So that can be up to 25% of the budget. So I give a breakdown of all that. I can't remember all those different
Figures.
pieces,
Yeah.
but still, that's only, so you really have, that's only 75% of your total budget. So that's a really important thing to know. I think the other thing is, when they're doing a project, is to evaluate, am I going to be here for a long time, or are we going to do this and sell it? Because you want to know how much you want to invest in it, and kind of the return on investment, how long you should live there to reap it back. Although it's the enjoyment factor too. So
Yeah, I
that
was going to
that
say,
has
I
to be
mean,
balanced.
so let's use us as an example. So, during COVID, we've done a lot of improvements and things. Like, actually, you're seeing white carpet here, which we bought, or we had when we first moved in. We just ordered wood floors. So we're going to have wood all the way throughout the bottom. And so this leaves our bathroom, our forest green tile
Oh,
bathroom. Forest green, big forest green tiles. It's hilarious. And it's funny because I list my house in an Airbnb, but I didn't take a picture of that room. And a few people have said, can we have a picture of the master bathroom? I'm like, yeah, okay, here, you can have it. But the big bad world's not going to have it because it is forest green. And it
yeah,
goes up the wall because we have a walk-in shower. It's a big, beautiful thing. But so, we're in that crux of saying, do we sell? Do we not sell? Because our house is too big for us. It's just two of us. And, the land's a lot. And we've been saying, do we sell? Do we not sell? And I said, look, until we know whether we should sell, because we were going to put it on the market and just suffer through it. Yep, it's green. I know. Make us an offer. Or we were going to say, hey, let's just renovate it. We're now at the point where we're saying, okay, we're not going to sell right now. That's where we're drawing the line in the sand. We're not selling now. So we need to do this renovation. But what if we change our mind right after we did the renovation, right? So
yeah,
how much emotion should be in this renovation? Do I go the way I want it, or do I go the way that it looks 10 times better? Because we're going to gut it. But do I go the way of looking like, okay, let's just make it look like it's an updated, but let's not put all the high end stuff in it. So what is your thought on that? without knowing how you're going to end up. I mean, that's part of some of the problems that I have as a challenge in remodeling is I
Yeah.
don't know if I want to spend the money at all. I don't know if I should go high end. I don't know if I should go right in the middle so I can somewhat enjoy a new bathroom, but it's not all the stuff I would keep if I was going to stay here another 15 years.
Yeah. Well, what I would say is the tile can be refinished. You could make it white. You could just make it another color, and that would save a whole lot of money. You know, you're going to redo the floor. That makes sense. And maybe just change out the countertop
Yeah.
and fixtures and the lighting fixtures. And that will make a big difference for starters. And then if you decide to stay, then take that tile out and put some nice
Yeah.
other solid surface or something.
That's
So
interesting.
you can
I'm
do it in
I'm actually
phases.
surprised you said that because I've been looking at it. My husband's like, "Oh no, you can't paint tile. You can't do that because then it's going to scratch off." And so you obviously have a technique that we're going to have to talk about offline.
Yeah.
That I don't know about. I love that. I love asking for it. So a couple things, also is that you have a podcast as well, called Stress Free Remodeling, right? So that if someone's listening to this and they could send their clients there, go there
Yeah.
themselves, listen more so that they know what it's about. But you have the podcast as well. So tell us a little bit about what you talk about on the podcast and some of the guests that you have on your podcast.
Well, what I try and do with that one is introduce every aspect of remodeling you might come across with. So I've had a contractor, I've had a feng shui person, I've had lenders. So there's all those different aspects to think about, when you're remodeling. I'm trying to think who else. And then, I do also have the podcast for realtors.
Yeah, I
And
was going to
that's
say that too. Yeah, real estate
yeah,
professionals. Yeah. So,
and
yeah,
fairly
tell us about that.
Yeah, and I hope you'll be my guest soon too.
Oh, yeah.
But what I do with that one is, again, as I'm teaching kind of a new technique to realtors, I get people who are offering kind of different techniques on things about marketing, how to voice who you are in your marketing message.
Yeah.
I've got, actually, there's going to be a feng shui person on that too, staging, talk about staging, and all those different aspects that
Yeah.
normally you don't get in your typical classes. So it's been a gas.
Yeah, nice, nice. That sounds wonderful. Well, and I know that you also have a couple of gifts for our listeners as well. And I will put all the links in and stuff. But I know you have a remodeling checklist, and then insider secrets for selling homes fast. So if you're a realtor, that's what you want. If you're a loan officer, what a
Yeah.
great gift that you could be giving to your listing agents, right? As a means for working with them, because that is something that is important on how to sell a home fast. And obviously, a lot of times when a house sells quickly, it's because it was underpriced. And everybody's real proud of that. And I'm going, well, if it sold that quickly, then it was probably underpriced. That's one thing that really bothers me. But you also have a realtor's success kit. So can you tell us a little bit about that? And I know that probably goes in line with maybe one of your courses that you offer as well.
Yeah, I'll just mention the gift too, that there's tons of information on that. It talks about those 3 insider secrets. It talks about like quality floor plans and features. And what I mentioned about the return on investments, there's some charts in there. There's some estimate of costs on things like changing a window into a door, that kind of thing. So it's really valuable information. And it talks about kind of the psychological whys, like quality is so good and how it can help sell a house. And the checklist is great for, again, someone thinking about remodeling. It goes through the flow chart, how a project should progress. And then also what I talk about being fit to remodel, having your finances in order, having your clear ideas of what you're going to do, and then finding your right contractor and professionals to help you. So
Right.
they're both great. And the course on realtors, the Success Kit, I've got that course accredited for continuing education classes in Nevada. So online, you'll see it's only $25, and on Brainer. I'm hoping to get it certified in many other states, but it's great resources. It's a 3-hour class, so it dives really deep into all that we've talked about today. And so far people are loving it. So
Yeah. Oh, I
it's
love
really
that. And
fun.
it's $25 for God's sakes. Go get it. Yeah, go get it, watch it. Who cares if you don't get the CE for it, right? It's just, 3 hours for, a really great price, and you'll learn a lot, things that you could take to grow your business again. I mean, that's what we're talking about here all the time. So, all right. So I want to leave with a tip. One other tip that you have that is just gangbusters on remodeling.
I think the big thing is having a space that is yours. And that's really the only way you can make it, whether you're building from ground up or remodeling, there's just so many little features and details that usually aren't existing in a place. So it's really making your space your own and making it feel the way you want. And that is so enriching for ourselves. We
Yeah.
spend 90%, probably more than that now, of our lives indoors and in our homes. So we really want our environments to really serve us and make us feel good.
Yeah, I love that. I call that the fuzzy ROI.
Yes,
Right?
that's a good
Makes
term.
you feel warm and fuzzy.
Yes, yes.
Because there's fuzzy ROI in everything. We're in the process of looking at another boat, selling one and buying another. And but there's a fuzzy ROI in this. We have to look at that.
Yes, exactly. That's a big part of it.
It is. Well, Emma, thank you so much for sharing time with us today. We
Oh, this has
really
been fun.
appreciate it. And, I just want to encourage everyone who's listening, again, everything that I talk about is going into action, taking things into action. $25 course, get the course, learn something from the course, share it with your realtor friends. If you're a realtor, share it with your loan officer friend, because you're working together to help clients, and this will make your business that much better. And if you're thinking about remodeling, go out and grab her book. I'll throw it up here again. Stress-Free Remodeling, a home buyer's guide to stress-free remodeling. You're going to love the book. I'm a big highlighter. Well, I don't think you see it there, but yeah, I'm a big highlighter. I go through books and I highlight everything. And that's why I knew I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things, because they were, chapters that I thought were really good, and, simple
Okay.
read.
Yeah.
And, again, I just really appreciate it. I love how you've blended architecture with remodeling in a way that I've never seen an architect do before. I mean, they just do their job and draw up plans, and here you're out there reaching into, the mortgage and real estate space, and also consumer space, to help them not go through so much havoc and stress. So thank you so much for doing that and giving us your wisdom
Oh,
today.
that's been wonderful. Thank you.
All right, guys, we will catch you next time on Mortgage Lending Mastery. See you soon.
Thanks for listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Be sure to subscribe to hear more sales tips, ideas, strategies, and tactics to help you with your personal and professional growth to multiply your results in record time. And if you like what we're doing, don't forget to give us a rating and review so we can continue to bring you the best content possible. Wanting more beyond the podcast? Join our Mortgage Lending Mastery membership community, where you will find extended interviews with our favorite guests, weekly training, tips, and insider secrets, fireside chats with Jen, free content, meet, share, and collaborate with other members, and so much more. Click the link in the show notes to learn more about this exclusive content. Mortgage Lending Mastery is an Industry Syndicate charter podcast. Industry Syndicate is the first podcast network specifically for the mortgage and real estate industries. Get the Industry Syndicate app in the App Store or Google Play today.